I arrived 2 years into the first chapter of Thatcher. Long time before TikTok and Matcha. Grew up on Goonies, Gladiators and Gaza. I'm from Araby Sprint, Super Soakers and Soda Streams. When the ninjas were turtles, the rain was purple and the Panda Pops were Yoda green. I'm from cigarette smoke, all over the place. Pubs and clubs and planes and trains, tobacco ads all over football games. I'm from that weird slice of time when we'd started to find the damage it did, but we still seemed to be fine with chocolate cigarettes for kids. Cause I'm from when health and safety was largely left up to Darwin. Minimum wage hadn't got started and queer people could barely exist, let alone marry. I'm from Iraq season 1, OJ on the run and know what I mean, Harry. I'm from Nevermind, incesticide and in utero, and when you still had to kick to make a scooter go. I'm from when it was still legal to make movies that weren't reboots, franchises or sequels. Before it took pawning an organ to be affording tickets to festivals, and before weed got so expensive that they switched it to decimals. I'm from when Savile and Harris were still trusted family entertainers, and the album thing was the only thing about Michael Jackson that was dangerous. I'm from when all the things on which digital visual icons are based were still in their original physical state, still needed scissors and glue if you wanted to cut and paste. And I remember kids bored off their arse in maths class who would ask, why'd you make us do this when calculators exist? Well, why should I bother when machines can do it for me? It's a story that goes back way before me, but surely we've allowed it to run riot and now we apply it to everything from creativity to learning to the very concept of thought. It's scary how much of being alive we outsourced, and I'm surprised the lesson wasn't clearer from the not too distant era of enforced FaceTiming and zooming that a screen will always be a poor substitute for a human. And when I'm from wasn't better or worse. I'm not trying to hype it or snipe it, just very not this is how I would describe it. Cause I'm from when paying and waiting made photo taking significantly different. Cause with those two things in mind, we were much less inclined to document everything all of the time, and the effect that had was both good and bad. Cause before we all became unpaid members of the media, police brutality was much harder to see, but live music was easier. Oh, and if you're under 30, this next part might confuse you, but cameras were typically operated pointing away from the user. And sometimes when I'm from feels like another plane of existence, and sometimes the distance is barely a postcode. I'm from when the climate was still known as the ozone, George Floyd was called Rodney King or Stephen Lawrence closer to home. I'm from when the position currently played by Islam was filled by communism, the great other that's needed to keep us divided and distracted. I'm from when television villains had changed names from Hans to Boris and later to Ahmed. And when I'm from is so far away that the kids of today couldn't even begin to get, cause I'm from a place called before the internet. Last generation to grow up without it, childhood unclouded by its inescapable grasp, kinda upbringing us a thing of the past. And when it first emerged the mood was exciting, like we might use it to enlighten and further ourselves instead of just murder ourselves. Don't think anyone truly expected all the division that could come just from being connected, and the idea of near limitless access to information, such a seductive invitation until you realise that every needle of truth comes in a haystack of lies. All this extra knowledge should be making us wise, so why does it feel like the reverse? It's kind of perverse. We got tech today that when I'm from only sci-fi could offer, but we don't use it to live long and prosper. We just sit there scrolling while our blood gets hotter, our brains get softer, and all the while we fuck up our posture. Cause I'm from when public transport passengers didn't all look like they were practicing Vipassana, heads bowed, not a sound all around the train or bus, like someone just went in the ground, ash to ash, dust to dust. I'm from when terms like neurodiverse didn't really exist, and anyone who read from a different script just got lumped in next to everything from deafness to dyslexia and filed away under thick. Cause my generation might like to think itself clever for tear down the wall, feed the world and free Mandela, but we still had to navigate plenty of hate. Grew up on a council estate in the shadow of section 28. Good luck being anything other than aggressively straight. Cause I'm from when ideas about boys and girls were very clearly defined, and God forbid you should ever colour outside of those lines of how to look, how to sound, how to act, unless you want to walk around with a target on your back. Cause I'm from when trying to put you in one of those two lanes was still used to ascertain everything from school sports and which careers you were steered towards, to what type of feelings you were supposed to have and who you were allowed to have them for. See, I was born in 81, little too young to catch the brunt of the National Front, but by the time of BMP, I was starting to see there would always be a section who would never be accepting of those like me. That's why I'm old enough to know the current shit show is a tired old repeat, and victory and defeat in these things usually goes in cycles. So from Nick to Nigel, it's really just business as usual. Is Britain racist? Well, like complexion, that's a matter of spectrum. 70 million different answers to that question, and all of them truthful. And when I'm from wasn't better or worse. I'm not trying to hype it or snipe it, just very not this is how I would describe it. Cause I'm from when the default response to someone falling in the sea was generally agreed to be pull them out as quick as possible, not stand by with their lights flickering, sickeningly bickering about who's responsible. I'm from when it was still frowned on to burn down hotels and bomb hospitals, and it's not that I'm falling for the fallacy of in my day they had more morality, cause I know that's a trope that's older than sandals. It's just I'm from a time when scandalous behaviour still used to cause scandals, though don't be misconstruing it. Always had creepy people doing creepy things, but unlike more recently they at least had the decency to creep when they were doing it. Nowadays it's amazing how brazen they parade and they're misbehaving. They don't whisper it, they shout it. Get caught in the act and barely react like what you gonna do about it. And in these head-spinning times in which we're living, with the breakneck speed of development, bringing ever quicker journeys from cutting edge to irrelevant, it makes me feel an increasing piece of my identity comes from not the where but the when of me. My heart doesn't flutter for some colours on a cloth. I put a lot less stock in my position on the map than my position on the clock. And when I'm from wasn't better or worse. I'm not trying to hype it or snipe it, just extremely not this is how I would describe it.